my name is Brittany Hart and I am the ringside reporter for the EHL. As we turn the page to the month of December, we can check off another month in the Eastern Hockey League. November was full of plenty of action and scheduling changes, but regardless, play continued. And with that, let's start making our way around the E-Show presented by the Penalty Box Foundation. Similar to last month, we will kick things off with the Boston Junior Rangers, the first place team in the New England Conference, with a total of 29 points at the end of November and a record of 14-1-1. The powerhouse Rangers were close to being undefeated during the month, but they were served their first regulation loss at the hands of the Walpole Express. Despite their one regulation loss, offense continues to dominate, as the Rangers were able to score 32 goals in 7 total games. All-star selections for the Rangers include forwards Ryan Bailey, Joey Schaefer, and Nathan Young, along with defensemen Nick Latvala and Jacob Rodrigue. Making our way down the conference, right behind the Rangers are the New Hampshire Avalanche. The Avalanche had a New Hampshire heavy schedule this month, facing off with the Seacoast Spartans and New England Wolves for a combined 7 games, the last 3 games taking place throughout Thanksgiving week with the Wolves. Although the schedule was heavy with in-state matchups, they were able to squeeze in 2 contests with the Connecticut Chiefs and Vermont Lumberjacks prior to the new state regulations. E-Crew favorite George McMichael has been the star for the Avalanche, starting 5 games this past month and coming in relief during one other contest. Throughout the month, the 2000 netminder was faced with 169 total shots and maintains an impressive save percentage of .951 for the season. The Walpole Express have made some noise this month, going 8-1-0, with their only loss being at the hands of the Boston Junior Rangers during a home-and-home series. This team, compared to the beginning of September, has made a complete 180 and has clearly gotten back on the right track. After starting the month with the win over the Wolves, the Express earned back-to-back shutouts against the East Coast Wizards and continued the month by sweeping 2 games apiece with the Railers and Seahawks. The most notable game being the first ever Thanksgiving showdown on the Cape. It was a quiet month for the Spartans as they only played 5 games, and it was a tough one as well as their record was 1-3-1, with their one win being against the New England Wolves with the final score of 4-1. It was worth noting the Spartans had 4 familiar names make the EHL All-Star team, with the Zamjiwa, Bjorn Chupak, Michael O'Brien, and Rhett Welizek. Seacoast hopes to bounce back as they continue to take on their New Hampshire rivals as play resumes December 4th with a huge contest against the Avalanche. The Seahawks had a jam-packed schedule this past month with a total of 10 games played and a November record of 4-5-1. Although the team may not have had the best record this month, 3 of their regulation losses were 1-goal contests, proving the Seahawks are a threat and a force to be reckoned with. They hope to turn the page and come back in the win column as they will have another busy month with 7 games on the docket in December. Leaders such as Wyatt Hinkson trust coach Bill Zanaboti and believe they have the pieces to come out victorious. 2 points behind the Seahawks sit the New England Wolves, a team who had an almost identical record to the Seahawks going 3-5-1. They too only lost 3 of their regulation games by a single goal. Although they are a 500 team at the moment, the Wolves compete day in and day out and were able to defeat the New Hampshire Avalanche twice, with all-star netminder LJ Newell between the pipes for both victories. In addition to Newell and the other all-star Wolves, keep an eye out for 2000-born forward Justin Patari, an uncommitted impact player who has shown tremendous playmaking ability on the Wolves' top line. It can be argued that no team has faced harder regulations and restrictions than the Vermont Lumberjacks. Quietly, the team has gone 6-3-0 throughout their first 9 games, and head coach Jim Masso feels confident that his team will take off once they can establish a consistent week-to-week schedule in the near future. The Railers continue to improve as the season goes on, going 4-4-0 in the month of November, with wins over the Connecticut Chiefs, Valley Junior Warriors, East Coast Wizards, and Seahawks Hockey Club. The Railers' 4 all-star selections in Brendan DeMarco, Tyler Drummond, John Baker, and Colin Rowe all come from different backgrounds coming into this year. DeMarco was a Mass High School standout, while Drummond and Baker are each coming off 2-year careers at individual prep schools. Drummond coming from the Hoosac School, and Baker coming from Tilton. Meanwhile, Colin Rowe is returning for his second year of juniors with the Railers. Despite the difference in background, all four have made a huge impact for Worcester, making their second season a success thus far. The East Coast Wizards have had a tough month, but seem to be figuring things out with the addition of new players. It is no secret that players move around in junior hockey, and the Wizards have added a handful of new players that will be impact skaters in their lineup. Colby commit and former Dexter Southfield forward Connor Blanchard will be a player to look out for as he played a fast and active game in his EHL debut against the Boston Junior Rangers. Wrapping things up in the New England Conference, the Valley Junior Warriors seem to be putting the pieces together and end the month winning back-to-back games against the East Coast Wizards. In addition to their 2-game sweep of the Wizards, the Warriors were able to pick up an additional win against the Seahawks earlier in the month. Defenseman Joe Biddle has been a staple in the Warriors lineup, tallying at least a point in every game this month for a total of 15 points in 14 games. As we make our way down to the Mid-Atlantic Conference, the New Jersey 87s sit comfortably in first place with 32 points, a whopping 12 points ahead of the second-place team. Although the squad may have lost in overtime to Maryland this past month, they remain the only team in the EHL to avoid a regulation loss to date, with an overall record of 15-0-2. 5 of those wins coming in the month of November. In addition to another successful month, the 87s organization had the most players named All-Stars, with 6 total selections. The list of players include Tim DeBoard, Dante Terramani, Nick Swain, Kei Yasuda, Dylan Gutierrez, and George Weiner. Continuing down the standings, the race is on as the second, third, and fourth place teams are all within 2 points of one another. As of the end of the month, the Connecticut Rough Riders sit in second place and were able to pick up a point in the standings in 4 out of their 6 games this past month. Despite only coming away victorious twice, the Rough Riders came up just short against the Chiefs, falling in overtime and a shootout. Due to changing regulations, the Rough Riders will not play a game in the month of December, but resume play against the 87s in early January. Just 1 point behind the Rough Riders sit the Connecticut Chiefs. The Chiefs have turned things around after a tough month of October and have a November monthly record of 5-3-1. Captain Max Phillips continues to be a team leader both on and off the ice and was able to earn himself an All-Star selection. 2 other members of the Chiefs also made their way onto the All-Star team, including Declan Bronte and Jared Tyson. Similar to the Rough Riders, play will be on hold for December, but will resume in early January when the Chiefs take on the Protect Ducks. Team Maryland started the month with 2 huge wins over the New Jersey 87s and Philadelphia Little Flyers. After capturing those 2 victories, Team Maryland went on a tough 5-game skid to end the month. Before closing out the calendar year, Team Maryland hopes to bounce back and rely on their 3 All-Stars in Dennis Archipenko, Vincent Maurice, and Rory Gresham. 2 points behind Team Maryland sit the Protect Ducks, with a total of 16 points in the standings and a record of 6-6-4. Despite being involved in some high-scoring contests, the Ducks hope to build off their 3 victories and find depth within their line chart. Players such as O2 All-Star Tyler Ebeling have made a huge impact for Protect, being utilized on both offense and defense, and as of now, the Ducks are scheduled for a total of 5 games in December, 4 of those games being against the 87s and 1 against the Little Flyers. Speaking of the Little Flyers, the team started the month off slow with 3 consecutive losses, but have since bounced back, winning 4 straight games to close out the month. Forwards Kyle Patton and Scott McGraw each had an outstanding month, with Patton tallying 11 points and McGraw tallying 14 points of his own. As things continue to click for the Little Flyers, they will look to carry over some momentum into the final month of the calendar year. As we wrap up the Mid-Atlantic Conference, we reach the New York Apple Corps, a team that went 3-5-0 this past month, with arguably their 3 best games of the season. It's worth noting all 3 wins were against a tough and gritty Team Maryland squad. In addition to Apple Corps' star forwards in Michael Carducci and Michael Leva, Colin Callanan has had a great season to date. The Corps hopes to keep this momentum going in the right direction as they will take on Team Maryland, the Little Flyers, and the 87s in December. As we transition to the EHLP, the first team we need to talk about are the undefeated New Hampshire Avalanche. The Avalanche are tied with the 87s for the most goals for with 67. Forwards Tucker Tassone and Graham Masson continue to be the leading force behind the Avalanche offense and are the 4th and 5th leading scorers in the league with 20 and 21 points. The Avalanche are a perfect 12-0-0 heading into December, and that 12-game winning streak ranks as the 3rd longest stretch of its kind in EHLP history. As for the rest of the North Division, the Vermont Lumberjacks and New England Wolves appear to be set for a season-long battle for second place, while the Maine Eclipse plan to return to play in the month of January. Moving to the Central Division, the Boston Junior Rangers went 5-0-1 this month, with their only loss being at the hands of the Walpole Express in a shootout. Goaltending continues to be strong for the Rangers as both Matt Morrison and Logan Palmer were able to post shutouts this month. The second-place Railers and the third-place Express are within 1 point of each other in the standings, as Worcester has 14 points and Walpole has 13. The Railers finished the month on a high note, with the power play clicking at 29.5%, leading the EHLP with the top power play. It is also worth noting the 4th-place Valley Junior Warriors completed an upset over the Railers, just after Worcester had climbed their way back into the next-level hockey power rankings. Making our way to the final division, the EHLP South, all was quiet as all teams played less than 5 games apiece. The first-place New Jersey 87s went 5-0-0, scoring 23 goals throughout the month. The Little Flyers started the month off slow, but were able to bounce back against the Renegades. And despite having a difficult month, the Renegades have hung tough with every team in their division, earning respect on what will be a tough out in the postseason. As for the Chiefs, they are following the same path as their EHL team and abiding by the state regulations in the state of Connecticut and plan to return to play in the month of January. That does it for the month of November in the EHL and the EHLP, and this month's video edition of Around the E-Show. Be sure to stay up to date with the E-Show podcast, which is released every Thursday throughout the season.